A very good morning to you once again. So the ANC has lashed out at the Democratic Alliance for its comments on the government of a national unity. The ANC's Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane says the party can't afford to be as reckless as DA Federal Chairperson Helen Zille. Mokonyane's comments come after Zille described the GNU as a coalition between the ANC and the DA.
The ANC and the Democratic Alliance are not seeing eye to eye on the characterization of the government of national unity. DA Federal Chairperson Helen Zille sees it as a coalition between the ANC and the DA, but Luthuli House has a different view. ANC Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane says the party can't afford to act like Zille.
We as the ANC are duty bound to nurture this. We can't be as reckless as Mrs. Zille. We can't be reckless because it is us who invited people. She was a guest and she remains a guest of the ANC. And if she has any discomfort, she is bound to actually express it, and it is within her right, but not to undermine the collective that is represented in Parliament. Majority of political parties that are represented in Parliament.
Turning to discussions on the election results, Mokonyane says they will not embark on a witch hunt against provincial and regional leaders who failed at the polls. Speculation has been rife that the party would disband the Gauteng province, KwaZulu-Natal and Northern Cape structures.
Any repercussions on who are not even near discussions of Wutikshaywaban. Where we are now is what happened, and once we have that understanding, we then go out and engage with everybody, self-correct where there has to be self-correction, strengthen, but ensure that you do not first start by saying, Baba Hambe, we're not a Baba Hambe party. What you are here about is about regaining what Mdu has said. It's the first time we have this. How do we reposition ourselves, but also what kind of different messages we're taking to different communities, because the voter is not just excited about 1912. The voter in each and every corner has got his or her own different issues that he or she is interested in.
The African National Congress, in its second day of the National Executive Committee, delved deeper into the issues why the ANC dropped electorally. Some of the factors remain of the Jacob Zuma factor in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, poor service delivery in many municipalities, and that voters did not trust the ANC in the interventions it made on electricity and also power cuts in areas such as Soweto. Samkela Masego, SABC News, Boksburg.
Samkele, thank you very much indeed. So that ANC NEC committee meeting continues today and is reflecting on the outcomes of the May election, which saw the party dip below 50%. So the six-day meeting of the ANC's highest decision-making body started yesterday in Boksburg. That's where Samkele was yesterday. That's east of Johannesburg. Today there is SABC News political reporter Natasha Phiri, and she joins us live now. Tash, a very good morning to you. Thanks indeed for your time. What are we expecting to hear from the ANC today? Some of the key issues, in addition, I guess, to it continuing to have to dissect what really happened in those May elections.
You're quite right, Crisalda. This is, of course, the last day of the ANC NEC meeting. And as you said, they will be still dissecting their electoral loss at the polls. Remember, the ANC dipped to 40% in the May 29 polls. But I'm actually joined by Zuko Limbi, who is the acting national spokesperson of the ANC. Zuko, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. So this is the last day of the NEC meeting. Of course, the Lekgotla takes place tomorrow. Just perhaps for our viewers who, weren't keeping up with the NEC meetings, let's just take stock of what happened over the past 3 days.
Okay, thank you very much, Natasha. So what happened over the past 3 days? On day one, which was on Thursday, The meeting entertained a series of reports, including the one you're talking about, the elections analysis report, an assessment of the political balance of forces in light of the recent election results, and a presentation, of course, by an external research company as well, on an external research institute on the analysis of the electoral trends. Then yesterday, which was day 2, and of course, all of those were preceded by a political overview by the president. And then at the end of it was a National Working Committee report by the Secretary General about the everyday workings of the organization. Then yesterday, which was day 2, we discussed those reports the whole day. It's essentially what the NEC did the whole day. We discussed those reports. So today, we will be summing up the discussions from yesterday and consolidating our decisions. And then the president will close the National Executive Committee meeting. Of course, around lunchtime, after the president has spoken, it's going to be a closed session, by the way. This is an NEC meeting of the ANC, so you won't be allowed inside. Then comrades Makura and Phiri Kubule will brief the media on the discussion about the political balance of forces arising out of the elections. Then, as you know, tomorrow we are commencing with the Lekgotla, in which we'll then be trying to concretize an approach to the government program of action, but also the organizational program of on how it must positively reinforce the work that is being done in government.
So, you talk about those NWC, the outcomes of the NWC reports. Can you just please give us perhaps just short snippets? I know that the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Phiri Mbalula, will be briefing us, members of the media, at 11 about this. But perhaps what can our viewers expect?
This is just everyday stuff, Natasha. It's something like, oh no, there's now an acting spokesperson because the spokesperson is on leave, or we had this meeting on this day. So it's literally just everyday operations of the ANC. Nothing of consequence for people who are non-ANC members. The work that is of consequence for the viewers at home are the outcomes of the NEC meeting on especially the ANC elections analysis report and the president's political overview on how we must understand the current political moment. Some of the stuff is which the comrades Phiri and Makura will talk about, and some of it is what the Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Nomvula Mukonyan and Mdu and spoke about yesterday. Those are the issues of substance. Otherwise, the NWC report is not as of public interest as people sometimes make it out to be. Just literally ANC housekeeping issues. But the Secretary General will give a highlight on the key issues that were of consequence. For instance, we announced the outcomes of a National Disciplinary Committee on Monday. That would be part of the report that the Secretary General is giving. The issues of how we constituted government, the GNU work, and so those are the stuff that the Secretary General is responsible for. But you will hear in that press briefing.
I'd like to get your comments at a national level. I know that Usamgele spoke to TK Ngqeza, the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, yesterday about this issue, the talks with Action SA in regards to removing the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Mr. Kabelo Kwamanda. Now, yesterday we had Action SA leader, Mr. Herman Mashaba, in the studio, and he says the leadership of the ANC in Gauteng is dragging its feet in removing Mr. Kwamanda. In terms of you at a national level, the ANC, what is your comments in regards to that?
The principal person in the ANC responsible for coalitions, especially in the metros, is Phiri Mbalula, the Secretary General. So that's the person that will ultimately set the tone about what happens where and how. But the ANC will not just act arbitrarily because some opposition leader has views about what should happen. The ANC will consider the state of local government and make a determination on what is the best foot forward. And it will pull all structures of the ANC along, including the PC of Gauteng and the RCs in Gauteng. So we will not be dictated to by what Mr. Herman Mashaba thinks should be happening. But when the ANC has come to a conclusion that some change to stabilize local government ought to happen, that will happen. And the person who will announce the way forward at that time will be the Secretary General of the ANC.
Mr. Kodlimpi, thank you so much for your time. Well, Crisaldo, you've heard it there from the ANC's spokesperson or interim spokesperson, Mr. Zugo Kodlimpi. Of course, this is the last day of the ANC NEC, and of course, tomorrow will be the Lekgotla. And of course, Crisaldo, the issue of Mayor Kwamanda and his removal. I remember that Herman Mashaba had also cited that tomorrow he actually intends and plans on meeting with the leadership of the ANC in Gauteng. Would be interesting to hear what the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Phiri actually has to say in regards to this issue. But of course, we will be briefing you on these issues. Oh, actually, Criselda, before we actually, Panyaza, you're live. No, we spoke to the spokesperson. Herman Mashaba says you're taking Criselda. I thought I'd get, Panyaza Lesufi, the Gauteng ANC chair, on this very issue, regarding the mayor. And he says the ANC spokesperson has spoken on the issue. We hopefully will get the comment there from the Secretary General, Mr. Phiri on this very issue and on the meeting that is expected to take place tomorrow, and other issues that the ANC is actually taking stock of. Remember, at 11 o'clock, there's that briefing by the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Phiri and of course, we've got that briefing by Phoebe Potrita and David Makura on the ANC's policy positions at 1:30.
Natasha, thank you very much indeed. And I knew when I saw Panyaza Lesufi walking towards you, I was really hope you were going to run towards him. Well done on that. Well done for trying on that. We'll certainly wait to hear what the outcomes of all of those important issues are. Thank you very much indeed. Natasha Phiri, SABC political reporter, who is at the ANC's NEC. We're expecting that press briefing, as she indicated, at around 11 o'clock. We'll take you live as soon as that gets underway.